Hello and welcome to Monson Made This. My name is Michael. Normally I'm on here cooking vegan food, and well, I guess I am again today. Before I say anything else, I want to get this cauliflower into my air fryer. If you want to know how I cut this cauliflower, you need to watch my cauliflower street taco recipe video, which I will have linked above here. Okay, so cauliflower is in the air fryer. You could also bake it at 400 degrees. 425 if you want it. It's going to take about 20 minutes, so that's why I wanted to get that in there first. Hello. Today's video is being shot in my One Take Wednesday style, which if I actually get this out on time, will actually be out on a Wednesday, which has never really happened before. But today's video is going to be both a recipe video where I'm going to be sharing with you this spicy curried cauliflower and lentil salad, which is incredible, and I know because I literally just ate it like an hour ago. But also I'm giving you an update on my whole food plant-based weight loss journey. So I decided to film it this way so that I could kind of cook for you in real time, but also give you an update on my weight loss. I had actually started filming earlier today over at my table, and the dogs were so annoying today. They just kept hitting the blinds and were just insane as soon as the camera started rolling. And I was a little bit hangry actually, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a second. But I decided to just scrap it and cook myself a meal. And so I made this salad, which I've actually kind of been playing with for a while. And so I threw together the salad. It was so good. And I was like, you know what? I should combine the update with a recipe video, do it this style. So that is why we are where we are today. To back up a little bit, so since December 6th of 2020, I've been on a bit of a weight loss journey. More than a bit, I've been on a weight loss journey. I started out by filming that very first week and everything I ate that first week. If you want to go look here at this playlist, that'll take you to the whole food plant-based weight loss playlist, and it has all my update videos and everything that I've done in that vein up until this point. So I'm filming this today on March 8th, which is just a little bit over 3 months from the date that I started. My initial weight on the day that I started was 221.3 pounds. Today, March 8th, I am 195.6 pounds. So I'm just about at a 26-pound weight loss in 3 months, which I think is great. And I try to, caution people from gleaning too much from the fact that I've been losing weight on a whole food plant-based diet, because I don't want people to think that it's some magic fix, some panacea, a cure-all. You cut out animal products, you eat only whole plant foods, and suddenly the weight just comes off. No, I've been tracking my calories, I've been conscious of my quantity. That's actually been my biggest obstacle in everything that I've done. Well, it's my biggest obstacle in terms of my relationship with food. Is I love food, I love to eat. I've been vegan for the last 4.5 years. And I love eating, and my obstacle is quantity. I don't know when to stop eating. So I decided to eat whole food plant-based to see if that would help my hunger, to see if it would help my cravings, and it absolutely did. I'm able to actually eat fewer calories while still feeling satisfied and satiated, and I'm not eating any refined sugar or refined flours, eating whole grains, whole plant foods, lots of beans. I came up with this paradigm: a grain, a green, a veggie, a green, and a seed, which is a checklist of what I try to get in most of my meals, which I believe this meal that I'll be making for you here today does pass that checklist. So it's been about finding the foods that make me feel satisfied so that I'm able to eat fewer calories overall, and whole plant foods have definitely done that, but I've still had to be conscious of the quantity, and there's a lot of people that have suggested following specific plant-based doctors and doing like, well, if you eat just 50% plain potatoes and 50% green vegetables, or 50% starch, 50% green vegetables, then you'll just lose weight and it's great, and follow this chef and follow this doctor, and that's not for me. I definitely want to eat a more balanced diet for myself. And so this is why I've chosen to eat the way that I have. Again, if you want to see more of what the meals have been, you should click that playlist. Well, I guess you got to rewind and click the playlist. I'll have it also down below. But you can see some of the foods that I've been eating and the way that I've been eating. And also over the past 3 months, all of my recipe videos have also been this way. So that's the update. 3 months, 26 pounds. Some weeks I was losing 2 pounds a week. Other weeks I was losing about 1 pound a week. The last 2 weeks I've been losing about 3 pounds a week, which is kind of crazy. But it's been all about just using Chronometer, tracking the number of calories that I'm consuming, eating mostly whole plant foods. There have been a couple days where I've eaten at restaurants, had Thai food, seen a spike in the weight the next day, go back to eating how I have been, and things get back on track. So that's it for the weight loss update. Let's start on this recipe. So as I mentioned, it is a spicy curry, lentil, and cauliflower salad. So in the air fryer / oven, I have my cauliflower. It's cut up small into like smaller than bite-sized pieces. Same way that I cut it up in my cauliflower street tacos video, which has a whole tutorial on how to cut cauliflower. So that's happening back there, and that's basically the largest time commitment other than the lentils, which today I'm going to be using beluga or black lentils. Oh, got a little drip. Obviously you can't see them that well here, but they're basically called beluga lentils because they are small and black like caviar. I cooked them earlier today. They just simmer in water for about 20 minutes. I do season the water, like I turn it into a broth. I use a mushroom broth powder when I cook it. That's just my thing to impart some more flavor into the lentil. So those were cooked. You could easily cook those at the same time that you have the cauliflower going, and they'll probably be done about the same amount of time. And you can pretty much assemble this salad at whatever temperature the cauliflower or the lentils are. But the dressing is the star of the show, and it's a combination of a few different ideas. So in a couple videos, weight loss video updates I did, it might have even been in the first week, I did a curry mustard dressing, which was so good, inspired by a friend of mine sharing with me a recipe from a like Blue Apron meal kit. But then also I watch the like Jane Esselstyn and Ann Esselstyn YouTube videos, and they also had a mustard-based dressing. So this is kind of like a combination of the two of those. So I'm gonna start adding ingredients in here. Basically, everything is 1 part except for the mustard, which is 2 parts. So this is spicy brown mustard. You could use Dijon mustard. You could use yellow mustard. So I want 2 tablespoons of this, again, 2 parts of the mustard to 1 part of everything else. So I want 1 part of sriracha. You could obviously use less or none of that if you don't like heat. Use a little bit more, or something that's a little bit spicier if you want more heat. I'm using pure maple syrup. I just think a nice sweetness cuts through some of the heat, and we're also going to be bumping up the acidity quite a bit. So 1 part maple syrup, and that's pure maple syrup. 1 part apple cider vinegar. You could use orange juice, you could use lemon juice, whatever your acid of choice is. Wouldn't be a Monson made this recipe without Bragg's liquid aminos. Again, 1 part of that. And this is, you could use low sodium soy sauce if you don't have this. I put this in literally everything. I love this stuff. Usually I use it alongside nutritional yeast, which I've added it to this. It doesn't add or take anything away. So you could just use a little bit of salt, or again, low sodium soy sauce, because that's the source of the sodium in our dressing. Tahini, I use a ton of tahini. Again, 1 part of this. If you wanted to make this dish lower calorie, lower fat, this does add about 100 calories to the dressing. So if you were trying to be more conservative with your calories, then you could either limit this or not put this in. I love it. I love that it gives it kind of a creamier texture. I'm adding black pepper because I think black pepper goes really well with lentils, especially these beluga lentils. And because it is a curry dressing, I'm using some curry powder. If you aren't a fan of curry flavor or curry spice, you could limit. I'm using, sorry, this is not in equal portions. This you just want about 2 teaspoons. So, or less than 1 part, I guess it is. You could use less if you're not a fan of curry powder, or you can even bump it up. So I'm putting this all in a large mixing bowl, and this is where I'm going to be assembling the salad as well. So I'm just mixing all of these ingredients together. Smells incredible. I will taste it, but I'm pretty convinced that my ratios are right here. This whole recipe, if you are to make it exactly in the quantities that I'm making, half of a cauliflower, a cup of lentils, 2 tablespoons mustard to 1 tablespoon everything else. For the entire batch, you're gonna be just under 500 calories. I did eat the entire batch earlier today when I made this. You could easily serve 2 people with this. So good. Like, the tang of the mustard, the acidity from the apple cider vinegar, the saltiness, like everything just plays a role. The sweetness from the maple syrup, I love this dressing. Great on salads, great in this particular salad. Let me move everything to the side. We're gonna be adding some more aromatics to the dressing now. So, I have my cutting board, I have a shallot, and I have some cilantro. This is how I'm keeping cilantro this time. It's just rinsed. It's in the bag that it came in because this came from my CSA. If you're not a fan of cilantro, leave it out. You could use parsley. A lot of people have suggested also using celery leaves as a substitute as well. And I just want about a tablespoon, again, just 1 part of cilantro. And I also want about 1 part of the shallot. You could also just use diced onion. You could use green onion. You could use garlic. Shallot's just a nice kind of middle of the road onion flavor. And I'm gonna add my cilantro into my dressing. And the shallot. Again, I want about a tablespoon of this. I'll end up chopping this whole thing if I can get it peeled. But I won't be using all of it. This actually was part of even though I guess I would consider this one shallot, it came paired up. It had a twin when I first opened it. A lot of people, when they cut onions and shallots, cut this way before cutting this way. I'm a proponent of just cutting it down through the top. I don't think you need to cut it the other direction as well, just because of the way the onions and shallots already grow. I'm not sure why. If anybody knows why chefs happen to cut it the other way first, maybe the cuts come out a little bit cleaner. So I said you need about a tablespoon. I'm just eyeballing it. All right, I'm gonna stir this together, and then I am going to add, well, I'll just add these. These are raisins. I think, again, the sweetness is nice from the maple syrup. The raisins add a nice little pop of sweetness as well. And I find anytime I use curry powder, I like to have some sort of pop of sweetness. Raisins, currants, dried fruit works really well for that. All right, mixing this together. Smells great. I've already tasted it. So it's a pretty thick dressing, which is great because I'm gonna probably eat that, well, because I already ate it earlier, I'll be saving this in the fridge, but you can eat this right away or you can let it set in the fridge. You can easily double this to have something that you'd serve at a party. But the lentils and the cauliflower are both going to release a bit of liquid. So I like having a slightly tighter dressing or a tighter sauce like this. That way when other ingredients release liquid, it doesn't get too watery. Let's just add the lentils here. Cooked black lentils, and they are fully drained. They're room temperature. You could use them as they're hot, which they'll be nice and soak up a little bit of the dressing. And it seems here when you mix the 1 cup of lentils with this quantity, by the way, the full recipe will be on monsonmadethis.com. It looks like there's not going to be much dressing, but I promise as soon as we add the cauliflower, it's going to loosen up a bit. Let's check on that. It's done. What we want from the cauliflower is we want them to be pretty tender, but also it's like a nice al dente. I want a little bit of color, a little bit of roastiness, and I'm just going to dump this directly in. Making it small too just makes it easier to eat. You don't have to cut through. You don't have to really like bite larger pieces. It's all just kind of fits in your mouth. Well, I'm impressed. My chatting ended up being perfect timing. So I'm tossing the dressing with the lentils, with the cauliflower, with the cilantro, the shallots, everything. So again, if you were wanting to serve this at a party, double the batch, because it's not a ton. Like I said, I've eaten this entire batch myself. Just use the entire head of cauliflower, cook 2 cups of lentils, you're good. So this is great eating it just as is, as a side dish. But if you want to make this a little bit more of a meal, here's what I like to do. I have some green leaf lettuce in here that is chopped up. Let me grab a bowl. Grab a nice sized bowl. Grab some lettuce. I thought I had more than I do. And then just pile, wow, this bowl's way too big for the amount that I have here. Just pile this lentil and cauliflower salad on top. And I think, if I can find a little bit of cilantro here, just for pretty. I don't know, it's such a thing my mom used to always say, oh, it's for pretty. And I'm gonna come up here and give you a look at it. So here we have cauliflower and lentil salad. Let's give this a bit of a taste. Again, you can let this hang out in the fridge. The flavors will mingle. It's great served right away. That dressing is truly something special. It's so powerful, so full of flavor. It's the spice, it's the spices, it's the balance between sour and salty and sweet. It's so good. I know I said I was gonna probably like wait, but I'll probably be eating the second batch again pretty soon. Thank you all for watching. I will be eating this on Monson Ate This, which is my Patreon and YouTube channel member video series. So if you want to watch those, you can click the link below and you'll have access to all of those. I think this is going to be video number 66 of Monson Ate This. So thank you all for your support. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for giving this video a thumbs up. And I will see you next time with another recipe video and possibly another weight loss update. So I'll see you then.
Ryan Little.